Welcome to Pink Kink,
where we talk about the pretty, twisted side of kink.
I'm Princess Rara.
And I'm Dara, the Electro Khaleesi.
Whether you are a new kinkster or have years of experience, Pink Kink will help you level up your kink knowledge.
Join us on this journey as we talk about our personal experiences and use the knowledge we've gained over 28 years of being involved in both private and professional aspects of this lifestyle to help you explore every facet of kink.
Get set for an adventure. Not only will you learn and grow, but we promise loads of laughter, turning each episode into a fun party. So fasten your seatbelt and let's get this show started. Pink Kink runs off the generosity of our devoted patrons.
As a patron, you will become a member of our special Discord server, receive some adorable Pink Kink stickers, as well as have access to a monthly behind-the-scenes podcast. Patrons also get discounts at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique, and our online classes at Pink Kink Institute.
In addition, our impactful and electrifying Pink Kinksters get special audio and video episodes. And finally, patrons at our highest tier will be recognized as producers, both here on the podcast and on our website.
If you would like to become a patron, you can visit us at patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast or click the link at pinkkinkpodcast.com.
Today's episode is produced by our electrifying Pink Kinksters. Thank you, Jay, Witcherman, Brianna Lynn, Daddy J, Fabe, Embers, Blossom, William P, Claire, Lady Blooding, Naughty and Nice, Butte Pain, Manda Panda, Cat, Shadow Phoenix, Brian, May Cry Devil, Ruby Riot, Mistress Velma, Enchanted Sparrow, The Wombat, Impact Hazard, Twitch, The Midnight Girl, Sinful, J21, Daisy If You Do, AK Harley Chick, Violet Rain, Serenity, Belle, Eric, Lady Affliction, Dr. Dave,
Pumpkin Pie, Ms. Tourmaline, S'more, Hacksaw, Wee Mad Beastie, To Be Better For Me, 3 a.m. Thoughts, Forest, Crash Override, Iro, Kinky Bear, Sviper No Sviping, Barbie, Navigator Bard, Frost, Sinful and Naughty, Coffee and Chaos, Noir, Mr. Pillsbury, Stitch, Peaches, Mighty Owl, Princess Sassy Pants, Lady and Lex, Chaos Monster, Hazel Page, Jessa Lady, DJ Harlow, Ophelia, Drew, Sexy Sunrise, Daddy's Pumpkin, and Birchbeard. Hey Kinksters, Dara here. I've got some exciting news for you. September is a big month for us because both Rara and I are celebrating our birthdays. To make this month even more special, we're kicking off our annual Patreon drive, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. Becoming a patron this month is like giving us the best birthday present ever. Plus, you get some amazing perks. Think behind-the-scenes content, our exclusive Discord server, and more. So, if you enjoy what we do here at Pink Kink Podcast and you want to keep the kinky content coming, now's the perfect time to join our Patreon family. Just head over to patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast. Pick a tier that suits you and help us make this birthday month unforgettable. Thanks for celebrating with us. And as always, stay kinky. Hey, wake up.
Why?
Because
I've never had to wake up before. Why should I start an ugly habit like that now?
You've never had to wake up before?
I've always slept through these. Haven't you noticed?
The episodes?
Yeah.
Wait, the episodes that I do or
yeah.
Episodes in general?
No, it's the ones you do, similar to what you do to me.
Oh, yeah, no, that's the fun part. But anyway, we're recording now. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good.
How you doing?
You feeling good?
I'm feeling good. I actually slept because I did not have Dungeon this weekend.
I didn't either.
Which is very weird for me. So I actually got lots and lots of sleep.
I went to bed at 12:30 last night.
That's late for you.
Yeah, and then my husband woke me up at 4:30.
For fun stuff, I hope?
No.
Oh, well, then he doesn't get to wake you up.
Well, because, see, I thought that it sounded like he was loading the dishwasher with, like, glasses and stuff. And
at 4:30 in the morning?
At 4:30 in the morning. I was like, what the actual fuck is this man doing?
That's illegal to be doing dishwasher stuff at 4:30 in the morning.
Well, it turns out that he was getting ice in a glass. And he was like, I didn't realize it was that loud.
Considering you're upstairs and the kitchen's downstairs, I wouldn't have thought that'd be that loud either.
I do. That's when you take the ice out of the freezer directly and hand place it into the cup. You don't just let it drop into a glass.
I'm still surprised you would have.
Oh, it absolutely 100% woke me up.
Okay. Sorry.
And then I was pissed.
Oh, I'd be pissed too.
Because I had a very late night last night. It was a great night.
See, for me, 12:30 on a weekend is an early night.
Yeah, but it was still a great night. We did a photo shoot. We did like a kinky photo shoot. So it was kind of kinking. It was kink related.
Yeah.
And I got to do some kink related stuff for the photo shoot. So it was super fun.
I love it.
Anyway, I am positive that this is going to be a really good episode too. Like last night was positive and all this other stuff is totally positive, right? Did I do it right? Is that what you're supposed to do?
Are we making positive jokes now?
Absolutely, positively.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely, positively?
Abso-fucking-lutely. But no.
Posifucking-tively?
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
Keep working on it.
Yeah.
You'll get there. I'm positive.
You're positive I'll get there?
Yeah.
Well, at least it's not. I was going to make some sort of battery joke, but I'm too tired for that.
Yeah. Considering this is not even an electro episode, but keep going.
Everything is an electro episode if you try hard enough.
I don't try. Maybe that's what it is. I don't try.
I'm currently too tired for this shit.
Haha, current. I got that.
See?
I get that.
Alrighty. Well, I might as well just get into it because I'm too tired to do shtick, and we don't actually have anything to shtick about today. We didn't do anything yet. We're shtick. Oh. Well, you say that differently, and it sounds really bad.
We're shtickless.
Woo! All right, so I'm just gonna get into it.
Okay.
So it's my birthday episode, guys.
Happy birthday to you.
There's the shtick.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dara. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
La, 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 la. Yay. I wanted to do an episode on body positivity in kink and BDSM, hence all the fucking positive jokes. Sorry, not sorry.
Listen, not everything can be a winner.
Not everything can be a wiener?
Not everything can be a wiener.
Well, if it tries hard enough, right? Well, anyway. So body positivity in kink and BDSM is like, so one of the reasons I wanted to do it is because I feel like I could use some extra body positivity just myself. And also because it has become such a thing in the last several years, like a big thing, like a big deal. So I feel like it's just a really good thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
Officially, it is a movement promoting positive body image, self-acceptance, and respect for all body types, challenging social beauty standards. Which,
love it.
Lord knows we all need some of this. Why this is relevant to kink and BDSM? Huge relevance. We have, oh God, how many stories do we have about this type of thing? Like probably, I'm not even going to be able to finish all my notes because of all the stories we've got. It fosters an inclusive environment where all body types are welcomed, breaking down the narrow beauty standards. It encourages participation and acceptance of diverse bodies.
There's a participation award.
There's a participation trophy.
I love it.
Participation, I can't talk.
Wow. And we're off to a good start. Yes.
I'm turning into you.
Hey, speaking hard.
Yeah. All right. It boosts confidence, leading to more authentic and fulfilling experiences in kink and BDSM, and it reduces shame.
Shame.
It helps diminish feelings of shame and embarrassment related to appearance, which is vital in a community focused on physicality and vulnerability. So, I'm just going to really quick tell a quick story about why this is super important to me.
And why you chose it for your birthday episode?
Well, because I chose it for my birthday episode because it's super important to me. Like, I'm a bigger person. And every once in a while, I'm not normally affected by something like this, but it's become apparent that, yeah, it used to affect me a lot more. I've gotten a lot more positive about my own body, but it's just, I've heard a lot of things, and I felt like this was a really important thing to do. Way back in the day, when I first began in the more public side of kink. So I think 10 years ago now, or not quite 10 years ago. I think it would be 10 years in January when I did the more public stuff. But anyway, I had a I guess you could call them partner for a little bit. We were just kind of testing the waters, and we did a rope class thing, and he was tying me. And then later, and I wasn't really into it. Like, I could feel a vibe. I wasn't into it. It felt wrong. And just something was off about being tied. I don't like being tied with my arms in the first place, and I think that was part of it. But just the whole vibe between me and him, there was something wrong. And later, he actually told me it was because I don't have the body type that he likes, that he's attracted to.
Oh, he doesn't have the type of man that you're attracted to.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. He wasn't the type of body type that I would normally be attracted to. I don't do military bodies. Like, they're nice to look at, but that's not what I normally go for in like a partner. But I wasn't interested in being in a relationship with him. It was just kink. So that's why I was kind of like, in that case, I don't really care. If I'm not going to be in a relationship with you, I'm a lot more flexible. I don't really care. But he apparently was very focused on the fact that I'm bigger and curvier and not the teeny little athletic person that he was looking for. And that messed me up way more than it should have. Like, I don't really feel it was necessary for him to tell me that specifically. It could have just been something as simple as, hey, I don't think this is working for me. Like, more power to you and everything. But he didn't have to get that specific and basically tell me I'm fat.
Yeah, that's a shit.
Yeah. So that really fucked me up for a bit. And at this point, I don't care. Like, my body type is an actual fetish for some people, and I proved it yesterday because I was sending Daddy J pictures during the photo shoot, and I swear that man must have
He was a happy boy?
Oh yeah, he was happy. He was drooling over some of the pictures, and so I was sending him pictures like when I was just getting dressed and he was in the other room, and he was just like, oh my God. And I was just getting, wow, wow, wow. Like, the man has a thing for boobs, right? So I was just sending him boob photos. But that makes it all better. So it shamed me for a little bit, and I was pissed about it. But I think now I'm actually good. So that's why this is like the most important thing to me. All right, so let's talk about the intersectionality of body. Oh wait, Rara.
What?
Do you have a story about this at all that you want to add?
I mean, body positivity has always been an issue for me, but that's childhood trauma stuff. So it's, for me, it's more about worrying about age in the sense of I've got wrinkles, the skin doesn't look like it used to. So from that physicality aspect, it's definitely something that I try really hard not to think about, because I recognize that that's my issues. Nobody's ever said a word to me. Nobody's ever said, something like, ooh, your skin has got that, old lady softness or elasticity. Oh, you don't know about the old lady? Come on. You have a grandma. Do you not notice that grandma's skin?
I know what you're talking about. I'm just...
Right? So I've never had, I've always been small. There's been a couple times that I've ranged larger size. Mm-hmm. But in the world of different sizes and shapes, I've never been bigger than a medium.
Mm-hmm. You're too short to be.
Well, it's just, even when I've been at my heaviest, it's still a medium.
Right.
Compared to other people. But it's, look, you look around and I see tall, thin women, and that's not me.
Do you remember, I'm pretty sure you were at this party and you'll know what I'm talking about. We were at Waypens, and there was a new guy there who just joined us, and he actually went around the party and asked a couple of us where all the young, hot girls were.
Oh, he didn't ask me, or I would have given him an answer. Not one he would have liked, but I would have given him an answer.
Yeah, well, he did ask. He did ask Simple Beauty. So that wasn't fun for him. Yeah. But can you imagine actually saying that at a party when you're the new person? He was obviously never welcomed back.
Well, what's really funny is that oftentimes the people who say stupid shit like that are really the last people who should be making judgments about other people's looks and bodies.
Let's just say he was young.
And that's about it? That's
that
the nicest you can have?
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't like completely fugly, but he wasn't the greatest looker of all time either. You know, like he had no reason to be asking for the young, hot women. And also, dude, like it's not like it is a fucking porno. That's the main problem. It is not a fucking porno. That's not what real life looks like. So get the fuck used to it. All right, now we're going to go into the intersectionality of body positivity and kink with gender, race, sexual orientation, and disability. All right, so with gender, this is really cool because right now we have this huge movement, again, with breaking gender norms. And it is completely phenomenal to see. You've got, it challenges the traditional gender norms and expectations around body image. And in kink, this allows individuals to express their gender identity more freely and authentically, whether they are cisgender, transgender, non-binary, genderqueer, or any combination of anything. And I saw a TikTok yesterday that this reminds me of. There was a guy walking into, I guess, a Ren fair, and he was jeans and a white t-shirt, very James Dean. Very Marlon Brando, you know? And see the things that I referenced?
I'm impressed that you know any of them.
I actually love Marlon Brando. So anyway, so it's very that style. And the caption was, when you think you're the coolest dude in the parking lot, and then this one comes through, and then this person comes through. And it's this full-on rainbow chainmail swaggering guy. And just completely fucking with all gender norm identities. And it was so cool to watch. I have to send you that TikTok. It was really funny. So body positivity also empowers. Oh my God.
Talking hot.
Oh God. It empowers individuals of all genders to explore various roles within BDSM without feeling confined by the social expectations of it. And this is like really, really liberating for women and non-binary individuals who may face more stringent beauty standards. This is really, really important because women, especially over the course of history, beauty standards have been dictated and structured to them according to what males want and like at the time.
Yep.
And it changes, but it's incredibly strict.
And it's honestly, it's very interesting because what media tells us that what men want, when you actually talk to the men, not necessarily what they want.
Right. Rara's being ridiculous.
I can't help it.
Yes, you can.
I don't want to help it.
There you go. That's more accurate. She's just making noises over here trying to distract me.
Is it working?
Yes. Good. Because I'm talking about that instead of the episode. So yes, it's working. Okay, so let's talk about how it's intersections with race. So mainstream beauty standards that we talked about earlier is not just specifically women. It often prioritizes Eurocentric features, marginalizing people of color. Body positivity and kink pushes back against these standards, promoting the beauty and desirability of all racial and ethnic backgrounds. That probably is one of the things that I love the most about it. It's bringing more people together. And it's not just saying stuff like, oh, we don't see color. That's not what we're saying. We celebrate in the community everything, every race, every gender, every norm. And by embracing all of the diversity for body types, for appearances, for race, ethnicity, everything. It creates way more inclusive spaces where people are seen, respected, celebrated, and this includes representation in media, events, and leadership roles in the community.
It has been, being the old lady that I am, I can absolutely tell you the difference in what you see on the covers of magazines now versus when I was a kid is night and day. I mean, okay, as a kid, sometimes they were blonde and sometimes they were brunette.
Was there ever a redhead thrown in?
Almost never.
Mm-hmm. Too rare.
Right? And I grew up as a kid with reddish hair, glasses, because I didn't get contacts till I was 16, and freckles. And I got made fun of all the time for having freckles and glasses. Now those fucking son of a bitches, you buy freckle pens.
Right?
And you create freckles.
People are getting freckle tattoos.
People wear glasses who don't need glasses.
Yes.
I mean, I'm so happy that, like, my daughter has glasses. Mm-hmm. She has never had to deal with people making fun of her and that old four eyes.
I was going to say, like, did you get called four eyes?
All the fucking time. I started wearing glasses from the time I was 7 until 37 when I finally had LASIK.
I got glasses when I was 15. I needed them since I was 7. And the optometrist actually said that this was the strongest prescription he's ever written for a first-time glasses wearer.
I mean, you held off waiting.
Well, that would be my mother.
Yeah, see, I come from, my dad wore glasses. Mm-hmm. So I got sent in first grade when I was 7. The note came home, Dear Rara's mother.
Yeah.
Because, of course, it would go to the mother and not the father back in those days. Rara is squinting when she's looking at the blackboard. Do you guys know what a blackboard is?
What's a blackboard?
Right? It's like a whiteboard, but with chalk.
What's chalk?
All right.
Did you go to school when you had to carry around like a slate? I saw that in Anne with an E.
Yeah. No, we didn't. But let me tell you, there were no electronics at all. I learned how to type on an old-fashioned typewriter. Though it wasn't old-fashioned at the time, that was what was available.
Like the big avocado green one that looked like...
Yeah. I mean, we were excited because there were ones that you could like go backwards and it would type, it had like a little white cartridge that would type over whatever letter you made a mistake in.
You didn't have to go in with the whiteout?
Oh, we did that too.
Oh.
Okay, look, I liked whiteout. Whiteout was good.
Sniffing it?
Never sniffed it.
You didn't?
I was a good girl.
I'm pretty sure I did at one point.
But what I did do I would eat food and hide that I was eating it.
Ah, yes.
Because
I did that too.
Because, we were all supposed to be skinny. Mm-hmm. And while I wasn't fat, I wasn't skinny.
I wasn't really fat until my first husband. Then I ate all my feelings and depression and blew up.
Yeah, I was moved in the middle of high school from a very successful high school life that I was having. Mm-hmm. And plopped as a New York Jew into the middle of Phoenix, Arizona, where I actually had somebody ask me one day, "Oh, where do you hide your horns?"
For real?
For real.
They weren't joking?
No, they were not joking.
Okay. See, this is what we're talking about. All different races and cultures represented in kink are good. And Rara can pull out her horns if she wants and wear them proudly.
But seriously, that was a struggle because, and my sister got made fun of for her Jewish nose, which she got taken care of because, it's what we do. So she got made fun of for that. So I really grew up in an age where there was one idea of what beauty was.
Oh, and you grew up in the Twiggy era, didn't you?
No, Twiggy's a little bit before.
When was Twiggy? Was that 60s?
60s.
Oh, okay.
Right.
For some reason I thought 70s.
And I mean, I was born in 65,
right.
So I was there for it, but my memory is really of the 70s where Farrah Fawcett was the it girl.
Right.
And it was, it was difficult because I didn't look like that.
Well, so I like to say that my beauty standard is from the Renaissance.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So they did a lot of curvies back then. So It was, actually, I think the beauty standards go by what is rich. So right now, if you are rich enough to actually have the time to go to the gym and the time to tan, because way back when, only laborers were tan. So tan was bad.
Yep.
And that pale, pasty skin was good. And it was because only rich people spent their time inside. So it all depends on what the beauty standard is for rich people.
I aspire to be a rich people someday.
Yeah, I'm going to go with my rich people beauty standard of the Renaissance.
Maybe my next life.
Well, in the Renaissance, it was you had enough to eat, and therefore you were bigger.
That seems fair.
Or ate rich food or something like that. Anyway, they all had gout, so maybe not that part. So let's talk about sexual orientation. By affirming that all bodies are worthy of love and desire, regardless of who they are attracted to, this is an actual crucial thing in the community because it includes such a wide range of sexual orientations. You've got heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, pansexual, asexual, and a shit ton of other ones that I can't even list. Like my personal favorite, omnomnisexual, which means I don't care who or what you are, look like, or whatever. I'm going to bite you.
Yum.
Nom. I love that one.
Well, it's even that has changed because, right, it used to be there was straight,
Mm-hmm.
there was homosexual, lesbians, and then eventually it became straight, gay and bi.
Right. And now there's a hell of a lot
and
more.
And now we've added pan
and ace
and ace, but
and demi.
As far as like adding to me the pan, where we're not even paying attention.
Did you know there's
gender.
a difference to pan? There's a difference with pan and omni.
There's lots of differences, and I think as with most labels, you get to choose what that means to you.
Right.
I am in awe. Like there's some things that I look at, and I'm the old lady. Get off my lawn, you little bastards. And then there's other things that I look at these kids, and I am like so fucking impressed.
She said these kids.
Well, they are kids.
Gen Z.
Yeah. I mean, my kids are Gen Z, remember? So
their kids are adults.
And they're still Gen Z. There's now Gen Alpha after them.
Oh, believe me, I know.
Right? So I am in awe of their open-mindedness, their ability to accept differences, and not only accept them, beyond accept them, embrace them.
Gen Alpha is weird.
My experience with Gen Alpha is not say minimal, but a lot less.
They're weird.
So,
you ever see their TikToks?
Oh yeah, it comes up.
They're odd.
I don't understand all of them, though some are cute.
I'm learning what the word.
Those are my favorite. The ones with the explanation.
Yeah. Like, in order to be able to talk to your kids, like, here's what this means.
Right.
But I'm actually curious what the next generation is going to be called. If this one's alpha, I feel like the next one would be what? Sigma?
Beta?
Well, because I'm going...
If we go all the way to Sigma, we've got to, like, come back around again.
But have you ever noticed that they're not going in any kind of order?
No, they don't make any sense whatsoever.
Like, how did alpha get to be alpha? They're not the first generation.
No, because Gen Z was the first of 2000, so...
Right. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Well, I want to know who's in charge. Who's in charge of these names?
The internet.
The internet is fucking dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. All right. So anyway, moving on.
Sorry.
I don't even know where I was. Oh, yeah. So individuals, for LGBTQ plus individuals, body positivity counteracts the body image issues that often come from both heteronormative standards and the unique pressures within the LGBTQ subcultures. It encourages acceptance and celebration of diverse bodies and sexuality, which again, I love. It's so cool to watch the shift and watch more and more people be more comfortable with who they are and their expression. So let's talk about disability for a minute. Body positivity in kink actually challenges the concepts of ableism and ableist attitudes and misconceptions about desirability and capability. So it used to be if you had any sort of disability, you were expected to not really participate in kink because obviously you weren't capable of it, right?
Yeah.
If you're in a wheelchair, how are you supposed to tie rope or get tied in rope?
No, I can answer that question.
Which is why I brought it up. Go.
I actually saw somebody at Winter Fire who was doing a rope suspension scene in their wheelchair. They suspended the wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
They bound themselves to the wheelchair for safety purposes, and then the wheelchair was what was suspended. And it was so fucking impressive and cool and amazing.
The sheer upper body strength that would have taken.
And by the way, folks, it was a self-suspension.
Yeah.
I mean, I was definitely just flabbergasted. All my flabbers were gasted in that one.
This whole thing is just really awesome. Like, because that right there promotes the idea that all bodies, disabled bodies, abled bodies, anybody is valuable and capable of participating in kink and BDSM activities. I am now disabled or labeled as disabled. That's fun to say, actually.
Labeled as disabled?
Labeled as disabled because my fucking knees don't work and most of my joints don't work and they pop and they do weird things and dislocate and it sucks. But I've been doing kink for 20 years. I can still fucking do kink. Just because I have this label now, all it really means is I get a much better parking situation. And even then, it's iffy. All right. So embracing body positivity means that you create accessible spaces and adapting practices. Embracing body positivity means creating accessible spaces and adapting practices to accommodate individuals with disabilities. This ensures that everyone can engage fully and safely in kink activities regardless of physical or cognitive abilities. This does not simply include people with physical seen disabilities. This includes some people with PTSD. This includes people with disabilities of like neurodivergence. We have to be accessible, or we have to do better in making places and munches and parties and dungeons and everything accessible to people. Now, private parties at private houses are different. We can do our best, but some houses are not set up for that.
Ding, 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 ding.
Rara.
Yeah.
Blind story.
Yes. So, the way my townhouse is set up, there's about 6 steps from the sidewalk up to my front door. Then you go up a big step actually into my house.
Yeah, that one actually physically hurts me.
Right? That's the biggest step. And then there's the main section of the house. But my dungeon is set up in the basement, which, if I remember my math correctly, is about 13 steps down. A narrow hallway that has a railing part of the way, and the rest of the time you just literally have to put your hands up between the 2 walls.
Yep.
And hold yourself going down. Not the most accessible, friendly environment. And then the basement itself, I have set it up to try to make the play area separate from where people sit and watch. There's still, you have to use your eyes to see to avoid problems. Because if you want to go and talk to Dara, who's got a crowd doing electro, you may very well end up, you're next to the spanking bench set up, and if somebody's trying to swing a flogger or a single tail or something, you could be potentially in the way.
Well, probably not a single tail. I don't ever think I've seen anybody in this house do it because it's kind of tight.
Yeah, well, but for instance, I have a single tail that I could do it because it's only a 3-foot single tail, not a 6-foot single tail. I had somebody reach out to me, 2 separate instances. I had somebody reach out to me about taking a class that I was holding in the dungeon. It was a Rope 101 class. And they explained to me that they had artificial legs. Is that the right
both
word?
of them were?
Both of them.
Okay.
And in that instance, my concern was just the physicality, being able to get up into the house and down the stairs. So I talked them through what my setup looked like. And I didn't tell them no. I let that be their decision. There's no accommodations I could make for that because it had to be held in the dungeon because that's where the space was set up. And they made the decision that they could do it. They had their partner with them who assisted them up the stairs into the townhouse, which was easy because they're wide. It's wide because you're outside. And then they sat down on their butt and went down.
Did the 2-year-old scoot?
And did the 2-year-old scoot down. And when they came upstairs, they crawled up the stairs. And that was their choice. And so I said, great. If you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. And they came to the class and had a wonderful time. But then I had for a party somebody who wanted to come who was blind. So I explained to them my concerns. and that I personally was very uncomfortable because I knew there was no way that I could ensure their safety.
Yeah. You couldn't safely accommodate them.
Right? And in that case, I felt that was my decision to make, not theirs. Because I know what the parties are like. They had never even been to one of my parties, so I knew exactly what they were like, how things were set up. The fact that I've had to remind sighted people to move out of the way. And I just made the executive decision that I did not feel safe doing it.
Right.
And I felt bad, but I thought about it, and I couldn't figure out how to make that work. They were not happy with me, to say the least. I got hit with accusations of being ableist, yada, yada, yada.
But see, the thing is, it's a private house. I'm sorry, but there's a huge difference between a private house and a public dungeon not being accommodating.
Yeah. Well, there was that, and there's the fact that this wasn't a close friend. So there's also, like if this was, let's say, God forbid, you lost your eyesight, and we had to sit down and talk about it to still make it happen. I would really work with you because I knew you well enough that I could work with you to figure out what to do. This was somebody who was more of an acquaintance. And I just didn't feel the need, especially once they started with an attitude with me. Like if they had just said, oh, I understood. Well, what if we try this? Here's what I typically do. Like if that had been their attitude, then I might have been more willing to work with them.
Yeah.
But when they went straight to, you're ableist, you're horrible, yada, yada, I'm like, you know what? You're not making me want to work with you.
Yeah, no, how about fuck you? Not friends with you anymore. Bye-bye.
Right? But I had do you remember when we used to have the munch at Fiona's? I did have a blind person who would come to the munch regularly.
Yeah. We also have a deaf person that every once in a while comes to the newer version of the munch.
Yeah. And so in that instance, he never asked us to make accommodations for him.
Mm-hmm. We did anyway.
Right. We did anyway because we're kind people. But he's like, he came with somebody and he had his cane. And I would always greet him, and I would usually tell him, hey, there's a seat over in this area, because obviously he can't see where there's empty seats. But, so we did very much try to make accommodations in that setting. And it's, look, I've made accommodations. If you're somebody, let's say, who has back issues or leg issues, I'll put out extra chairs for you to make sure you have a spot to sit, or different things. I do my very best to try to make accommodations when at all possible. God knows I accommodate Dara's absolute fear of blood.
She does a pretty good job.
It's a phobia at this point. So, there's just, I think a lot of it is attitude from both parties.
Well, I make my own accommodations at Risque. I always make sure I have a chair behind me. I always schedule a break right in between. It usually falls right about the point where my legs can't be standing up anymore, and they need a break. They need, I don't know, special attention isn't the right word, but I usually get to a point where I can't physically stand anymore, and I would go down if I didn't schedule a break. All right, so let's talk about education and awareness. You can, in order to make these more possible, we need to, it's not quite where it should be yet. So things like organizing workshops and panel discussions that would address the intersectionality of body positivity, focusing on the experiences of marginalized groups within the kink community, those need to happen more. Things like providing resources like books, articles, online content, podcasts that explore the diverse experiences of individuals in these intersections. Like we could have full-blown panel discussions about all the different stories, about the positive times and the negative times that people have run into that have to do with body positivity. There's starting to be a lot more diverse media representation. We've got more events that show a diverse range of body types, genders, races, sexual orientations, and abilities. Case in point, and I'm going to bring it up, Bridgerton.
Yeah, that in a lot of ways that both showed how far we've come
and how far we still need to go. Because holy shit. So what did they call Colin and Penelope were differently, not differently abled. It was something.
It was the headline in one article of a major publication that said, "Is the world ready for a different sized couple?"
Yeah. Hello. We've been doing it forever. King of Queens. I could name several others. Like, there are too many to list. It's always a man that's super fat.
That's what I was gonna say.
And a super skinny small woman. Like, come on. Seriously?
Listen,
that's been going on since the fucking 90s.
How many in our group itself prefers a dad bod over a muscle man?
I think you're one of the only people that prefer the muscle man.
Yep. I think I am the only one.
Right.
In our current group.
Yep.
Probably. Everybody else wants a dad bod. Listen, I've seen people on TikTok where there's this gorgeous woman with a not stereotypical gorgeous husband.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, you're with him for the money. You're with him for the money. You're with him for the money.
Right.
And she's like, actually, I have the money. And I love him. And she goes over how he treats her like a queen.
Right.
And how amazing and wonderful he is. And she's like, why do you all find it so hard to believe that I could be attracted to him? And it's sad.
It really is. And then there's that one couple on TikTok where you do have the heavily muscled man. I mean, like absolute fucking beefcake weightlifter guy and his incredibly curvy wife. And people make fun of them.
Yes, the guy has the
beard.
Oh, yeah, and they've been together since high school, and he looks at her like the sun rises and sets with her.
Right, exactly.
We should all have a man who looks at us the way he looks at her.
Oh, it's stunning. It's stunning. And yeah, so the whole Colin Penelope thing was just crazy. But Bridgerton also does an incredibly good job of bringing different races in and sexual orientations. Not so much with the different physical abilities yet. I assume we'll get there. But I mean, seriously, they just made Francesca a surprise lesbian.
Yeah, I was not expecting that one.
I mean, that was kind of cool. I mean, it explains why she was kind of like she loves Michael, but also kind of, or not Michael, what's his name? Michael's the second husband.
I think
John?
Maybe.
Oh, and also, actually, no, I take it back. They do have different abilities, not physical ones, but Francesca and John are both very clearly neurodivergent.
Oh, yeah.
Very clearly. So that right there is probably one of the only shows that I can say that are currently rocking the representation. And I would love for that to keep going. We need to do more like that, though, of elevating marginalized individuals by featuring stories, experiences, contributions in the community platforms and events. All of this needs to just keep going. We've got the momentum. We just need to keep pushing it. One of the ways that we can do that is by using inclusive language in communication and adopting policies that affirm the identities and experiences of all the community members. So, for example, using correct pronouns. Ask if you're not sure. And honestly, just go with they, them until it's confirmed.
Yeah. I've done that.
I've done that forever.
And silly things like add your pronouns to information, especially if you have standard pronouns, because that way it makes it very normal to have pronouns. So it doesn't seem like it's just those with the they, them, or the she, they, he, they, whatever, that everybody, I mean, I did a Zoom call last night and there were only two of us who had our pronouns listed in our names. And one is somebody who does go by they, them.
Right.
And there I was right next to them with my she, her, just right there, as if that's perfectly normal to have your pronouns there.
Well, especially for the cisgendered people to have their pronouns, because cisgendered people tend to think that that's just assumed that they're automatically going to be cisgendered pronouns. It's not. It's not. I tell you, there are some cisgendered people that don't look cisgendered, and it would be helpful sometimes.
Yep.
God, especially on a baby. We should just start labeling babies with genders because they all look alike. So you can replace gendered phrases like ladies and gentlemen with everyone or participants, or neutral titles like dominant, submissive, unless specified otherwise. I once called a group of children goblins and gremlins because that's very gender neutral. It's my personal favorite. I don't know where I was. Probably some sort of camp. All right, so avoiding body shaming language. You do not need to use words like skinny or fat. You can use things like people of all body types. You don't even need to mention size. Types is just fine. You use affirmative language, emphasizing inclusivity, like we welcome and celebrate all shapes, sizes, and abilities. Change that as you will, obviously. Respecting racial and ethnic diversity, avoiding stereotypes, and please use respectful descriptions, especially if you are not one of the marginalized community and can somewhat get away with it. Recognizing the diversity of relationships. Oh my goodness. There are as many different, if not more, types of relationships as there are genders, abilities, and orientations. Take all of those things and then multiply them. It's like exponential. There are various types of relationship structures. And then when you add poly into it, it gets even more diverse and complicated. There's so many different kinds of configurations. There's so many different types of people. It just all goes completely out the window when you're throwing everything in there. Person first language, also very important. Person with a disability instead of a disabled person. So you put the person first. They are not their disability. They are a person. They just happen to have a disability. You need to clearly communicate accessibility and accommodations, like this event is wheelchair accessible with sign language interpretation upon request. You should also be trying to plan accessible events. We talked about this earlier. Private homes are kind of the exception to this. You can try, but there's some houses that it's almost impossible to accommodate things. So like Rara's house, not accessible at all to a wheelchair user. At all.
Not at all. Not in
the slightest. So moving forward with that, I just want to talk about some of the challenges that we may face with all of these and misconceptions. Most people have some sort of internalized beauty standard that can lead to self-doubt and negative body image, and it impacts their confidence and participation in kink activities. For example, my internalized issue is that comment with rope, the guy with the rope. And I have not touched rope since. I think maybe I did it one time with Simple Beauty and I was so uncomfortable. I just had that scene going in my head over and over, and I haven't been able to do a rope scene since. So that really kind of fucked me up. And it's one of the only experiences I can ever think of that fucked me up that bad. So you've got that, you've got role-specific expectations, and this is the part that drives Rara and I crazy. You've got lots of stereotypes in BDSM.
Yep.
And like dominance must be tall, muscular men wearing a suit. And this really puts pressure on people to conform to certain body types. What's the other one? The submissive must be a small, skinny, young woman. And you know, Rara and I try to break those stereotypes and gender norms all the time. All the time. Just by being, we break those norms. And that's kind of like, that's one of the things we keep trying to do. If you have all these things, you've got more participation, you've got less fear, people are willing to do more stuff and just enjoy rather than be kind of nervous and kind of, I don't want to do this. Rara, you ever feel any of that?
Maybe.
I know not recently. You kind of like in your I don't give a fuck era.
Yeah, I'm just too tired. I don't have enough fucks left to give.
Well, I think, what is it we decided? Once you turn 40, your fuck bucket becomes the size of a
thimble?
I told you,
it's like the eggs. You are born with all the fucks you will ever have. And as you use them up over the years, you literally have run out.
I have very few fucks left. And I did notice that after I turned 40. Mm-hmm. It might have been a little before 40, but legit, I just stopped giving an absolute fuck. Like, I'm really, really not caring what people, like, I got a new job and I'm already getting into an argument with somebody, but I'm doing it like, okay, listen, you have no, I don't know what hill you're standing on, but there's no hill, lady. We have to do this. You can't argue it into oblivion. Like, we literally have to do this. So please shut the fuck up. A lot of this stuff will reduce gender dysphoria. So trans and non-binary individuals may face heightened discomfort in kink settings due to gender dysphoria. Traditional gender norms in kink can marginalize those who don't conform, which adds pressure to bodies in specific ways. And again, same thing with the racial stereotypes. People of color may face fetishization, racial stereotypes, and this affects their body image and self-esteem. So using all of the things that we talked about before to make things more comfortable, more accessible, we take all of the rest of this stuff down. Ableist attitudes and assumptions about physical ability in kink, that's exclusion. And here's the thing. At my job, for the last couple of years, I've been trying very, very hard to be inclusive of, and I know this sounds really simple and it doesn't sound very important, but it's incredibly important to the people it affects. So this is kind of an analogy of the kink thing. I have been trying very, very hard to make food allergens less restrictive. Because you know how you bring the things for potlucks?
Yeah.
You know, you do like a Thanksgiving thing at your job and everybody brings something. Well, I did notice that there was never anything gluten-free, dairy-free, nut-free, allergen-friendly, no labels, nothing. Right. So the other day I kind of tested the waters at my new job and I brought in some vegan fudge. I'm very good at making things vegan now because I'm severely lactose intolerant and I have several allergies. So I made it vegan and I said on the label, I listed what the ingredients were and I said vegan, ! Gluten-free, ! And the amount of emails that I got in response to that saying, thank you for making it vegan. Thank you for making it gluten-free. I mean, I think fudge is gluten-free anyway, but they were so
But it's usually not
happy.
Dairy-free. So the fact that you made it dairy-free is very special.
They were so happy. So I think once again, I'm going to be the one ending up spearheading this. And I remember somebody saying to me at my old job, and they said it twice, if you're vegan or have food restrictions, bring your own food. And that to me is a very ableist attitude.
For me, if it's a potluck, I would always bring food that would fit into my dietary requirements. So at least I knew there was one thing to eat, but I wouldn't make it just for me. I'd still make a huge amount.
Exactly.
And include other people.
Exactly. So that just really fucking got to me because that's the second time this individual has said something to that effect, where if the office is purchasing food for the staff and they are purposely not including things, like, do you know one time what the vegan menu was?
I'm afraid to ask what they considered a vegan menu.
Apples and bananas in a bin.
Oh, yum. Like they couldn't even cut them up for you. They just threw them in a bin.
You grab an apple or a banana. So do you want to know what I ate? A fucking banana. Because I'm also allergic to apples. One time, the office bought an entire, like a snack for this whatever meeting. And it was pretzels, like soft pretzels. So anybody who was gluten-free, of which there were at least 7 that I knew of, couldn't have it. There was a time where they bought pizza, pasta, and salad. Guess what the salad had in it?
Apples.
Nope. Parmesan. So,
look, I tried to kill you because I totally forgot about butter. But that was the difference between I forgot about an ingredient. Then I said, I know, and fuck it, so sad too bad for her.
They just didn't care. So I'm hoping my new job is better at that. Here's the thing, though. How the fuck do you forget butter has milk in it?
Because I don't think about it.
Whatever. You paid for that mistake, so that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I paid more, but...
You stunk up my bathroom, so...
Yep. So I don't feel bad for you.
I felt awful. I really did. As somebody who's got allergies, now my allergies...
That's like me forgetting that certain fish sauce, is fish.
Well, and the difference is my allergy could kill me, literally, but it's also much easier to avoid.
Well,
because fish is a very distinctive thing.
I have other allergies that could kill me, like the stuff in alcohol, which is why I avoid alcohol now. That one is the one that I need an EpiPen for. That's the one that I get hives going from my throat all the way down my chest.
Yeah, I live on the edge. I have no EpiPen.
Don't do that.
They don't make it easy to get one.
No, they don't.
And here's the thing. I've known I've been allergic for 50 years. But I've found that out anecdotally because I had the stuff and had an allergic reaction.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people find out.
And then I tried it again as an adult and had an allergic reaction again.
Yeah, don't do that.
In order to get an EpiPen, they tell me I have to get officially tested. I would have to spend a lot of money to be officially tested to find out something I already know. So God bless American healthcare.
I was getting hives every time I drank alcohols. So I went to the allergist, and all I did to get officially tested was show them the picture of my hives.
Yeah, well, I don't have pictures.
Okay.
So
you would have to do the prick test.
Right. And it's like, so I would have to do the prick test to find out something I already know.
Hey, do you use ponzu sometimes when you cook?
Yes.
That has fish in it.
Apparently it's small enough that it's not a problem.
Okay. So is it like the fish itself or the mercury?
It's probably the fish itself, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Okay.
Because the last time I had salmon and I broke out into hives from the salmon.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what it is, but as I said, I've gone this long. I've accidentally ingested a tiny piece of shrimp every now and then in Chinese wonton soup that I haven't been careful of. And I can feel my throat definitely tighten.
Starting to close. Yeah.
More tighten. I didn't have itchies. More tighten. And I can pop a Benadryl.
Yeah.
Because it's small enough. I think if I actually ate a whole piece of shrimp, I'd be fucked. So as I said, it's been easy enough to avoid.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. This is kind of words are hard. An analogy situation here. Like, just talking about allergens is like, they're serious, but they're not kink related.
Right.
Unless you do the whole thing that AJ said where you reach into the freezer and grab a frozen fish and then hit you with it.
But actually it can be, because what is an allergy that you have that would definitely come up in a kink scene?
Do I have one? Oh, fuck yeah. I forgot about that. Latex. Oh, you want to hear something sweet?
Yeah.
So I mentioned we did a photo shoot last night, and it was just my electro girls. And I said to Noir, I was like, hey, did you bring your latex dress tonight? Because last time she freaking wore a latex dress, she sweated through the whole damn thing and had to borrow an outfit from me to wear.
Yeah. But here's the thing, right? That a lot of people like to wear latex to the club.
Right.
You can't touch them.
They can't even get on my table even if they've stripped the latex off, because it's still on them.
Yeah.
So Noir last night was like, no, girl, you're allergic. I'm not wearing latex anywhere near you, your house, anything. She goes, absolutely not. I wouldn't do that to you.
And I think people forget about that, because all the dungeons that I know of have nitrile gloves.
Yep.
Because of latex allergies.
Well, because latex allergies didn't used to be so much of a thing.
Yeah.
Like when I worked in daycare, we all wore latex gloves, and I was like, I am allergic to latex. So they had to get me my own box of nitrile gloves.
Right.
But now hospitals, doctors' offices, dungeons,
it's just easier.
It's just nitrile.
It's just easier to just use nitrile and not even have to think about it. But as somebody who dated somebody who had an absolute latex fetish and wore latex to everything. Yeah, I mean, it's something that could very well happen at a kink event. I mean, what happens if somebody is wearing latex, sits down in a chair and walks away, and you sit down in the chair next because you didn't realize?
Well, with transfer, it's a little different. It's not like a liquid. With a solid, it's slightly different. I could probably maybe be a little bit itchy, but I don't think I would be breaking out into hives like that unless I specifically touched the latex itself. All right, so that's pretty much it. I know we went off into allegory land over there, but
I think the important thing to remember is, as I tell people, kink for me is one of the most amazing open-minded places. I've never walked into anywhere that has such a wide variety of body types as I do when I walk into a dungeon. The amount of larger size people wearing tight clothes, if they even have any clothes, and walking around and just being who the fuck they are is probably, for me, one of the most amazing, beautiful things about kink. You are afraid to go because you think you'll be the biggest there, and I can pretty much guarantee almost always you will not be. There is just, we have them in all sizes and shapes. And our dungeon is pretty cool for color too. In fact, there's somebody who I was at a class with them, and they had come from out of town, and she is black. And she looked around and she says, "Oh my God, I'm not the only black person in this room."
Dude, my fucking next door neighbor, they're aware of my lifestyle and they're really chill about it and cool. And this lady, she's from Ethiopia. She goes, "Yeah, but black people don't kink." I was like, what are you talking about? She goes, are there black people that kink with you? I was like, "Do you want to come over for a barbecue and I'll invite everybody?" There's black and kinky at our dungeon. What the fuck do you mean black people don't kink? Your family may not be kinky, but that doesn't mean that not every
that you know of.
But no, I'm pretty sure her husband would join the lifestyle if she would let him.
But kink is just an incredibly diverse lifestyle when it comes to body types. And I think for most people, it's getting through the insecurities and those bad tapes in your own head that are telling you things, because and there's somebody for everybody. Yeah. I think nothing else. Walk around the fucking dungeon, look at the couples, and understand there is somebody for everybody.
There's a lid for every pot.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed what you heard, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a minute of our fun and educational content. New episodes drop every Friday.
If you love what we do and want to show support, there are several ways. Join us on Patreon at patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast. You can support our affiliates or help spread the word about our kinky podcast to your friends.
Don't forget to rate and review Pink Kink on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Those 5-star reviews go a long way in boosting our podcast through the algorithm and reaching more listeners.
Sign up for our Pink Kink Institute classes. Shop at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique. Stay connected with us on social media. You'll find all the links on our link tree posted in the show notes.
Your support means the world to us. So until next time, stay pretty, stay safe,
and stay twisted.